Welcome back, guys. This is Gaming Dad 56. We are here for another episode of the $10 million challenge. I just saw Helper A has completed their task. Which one is Helper A? Because neither of them are actually done with their task. Yes, this guy. Right. He is clearly not done. So let's get him back over here, started where he needs to be. Excellent. There we go. We're going to start him a little further over to the left than he needs to be, probably, just to make sure he gets it right this time. Because as you guys know, helpers in Farming Simulator can kind of be a little less than helpful at times. Okay, so if you remember, last time we finished the episode, we had about $38,000, and we were working on finishing seeding field 14, which is what I just set him back on again, and we're fertilizing field 15, which you can see the worker is on over there and probably just about done. Do you really have to go one more pass up? Oh, that's gotta be like a tiny pass. Let's run over there and see how much is left. There's gotta be like nothing. Yeah, there's nothing left. What are you doing? Just costing me crap tons of money. Got it. As I said, help in Farming Simulator is just so very helpful. Okay, so here's a look at the map to update you guys that I was on the map. I don't know why I did that. Here's a look at the map to update you guys on where we're at. This field's fully cultivated. It is now fully fertilized in the first state. All the fields need plowing, but as we don't currently have a plow, we can't really do that. We planted soybeans here. Barley's going to be on this field, and then we'll plant corn. As soon as this guy is done, we'll get him going on that. Okay, this guy is done. We're going to go park this up, and we are going to figure out something else to do for today. Except for seeding, there's honestly not a lot to do. We can't go fertilize either of these two fields because they need to progress to the next growth state. We can't really do any grass cutting or anything like that because we don't have any of the equipment for doing hay or grass. So yeah, there's just not a lot to do at this point. Back him up. So that means while we are sitting here waiting, we're gonna go do some missions and make some money. Okay, unhook that, pull him forward a little bit. That was not forward, that was backwards, and shut him down. Okay, so if you guys want, we'll take a look at where we're at here. We've got 19,000 wheat still, but no real good prices. 5,000 barley, still no good prices there. 5,000 corn, we do have good price there at Gold Crest Pacific Grain. I'm not ready to sell that just yet, because if we can start doing some of these missions, then we can make a lot of our money that way, and we can save our grain until there's great demands. And I will go start a mission. I'm just waiting for this guy to finish up with this field so I can start him on the next one before I get into a mission. Then we will go do a mission and try to make some money. We are at now under $37,000. So we're down 1,000 so far today. We're going the wrong way for making that 10 million, but that's okay. This is how it has to be, of course. You gotta spend some money to fertilize and seed and all that to be able to make money. Okay, let's see. Let's switch our crop types here. And this seeder can't do corn, can it? No, it cannot. Okay, well, we won't be doing corn then. which is fine because we also don't have a corn header. So what we're going to plant here instead is soybeans. So we'll have 2 fields of soybeans, 1 of barley. The barley will give us some straw that we can decide to use or not. We'll see. I would like to get into animals fairly soon, so we'll see how that goes. I'm not sure which animals we'll get into first. Sheep are the easiest one to take care of because all they require is grass. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see what I end up deciding to do. Pigs might be the most fun because they take a lot of work. Cows could be pretty fun too, but we just don't have a lot of the equipment to be able to make silage and stuff, whereas pigs take a lot of the grains, although we don't have any of the wouldn't have any of the root crop stuff. Okay, let's see where fields are at. I wouldn't mind doing a harvest, and a fairly big harvest at that. So we're gonna go ahead and do that on field 20 maybe. Let's see what's here. Big field. Ooh, an hour. Holy cow. But $32,000. Okay, what I'm going to do, I'm going to save that one for later. I probably will do that one. I don't know if I'll do it on camera with you guys or not. It's just going to depend. So let's find something else. Another field, a little slightly smaller field that we can work on. 4. Oh, got some sunflowers. Yeah. Oops. Do a sunflower harvest. 12,000. Take us about probably 20 minutes. Let's do it. Now guys, I fully understand that you probably do not want to sit here and watch me do these missions all the time. Like I said, I want to show most of this stuff on camera, but I will try to time lapse some of the video because I didn't mean to do that. Because I know that you guys aren't gonna want to sit here and watch me doing stuff, especially for instance for a job that takes like an hour to do. While that would be awesome in terms of money, $32,000, you guys don't want to sit here and watch me work for an hour. Whoop. There we go. Okay, let's get going. And I am going to well, maybe not. Okay. I was gonna say I'm gonna get GPS going, but it appears that GPS is not working for some reason. Not sure why. I'll have to check that out. So we won't be using GPS. I guess we'll just be doing this at normal in-game. So I hope you guys are enjoying Farming Simulator 17. I know it's been out for a while. I've been enjoying it. I think they did a great job making this game and making a lot of the improvements to the game. Some big improvements here. There's still some things I would really like to see. I love that they finally allow you to manipulate small objects by hand. That, I've been wanting to see that in the game for a long time. Ever since, whoa, stop, where are you going? Ever since Agricultural Simulator 13 came out and had that feature in it where you could pick up small square bales and seed bags and things like that by hand. And it was just really cool. I loved that part of it. So I was hoping that Farming Sim would come out with that at some point, which they finally have, to a small extent. It could still be expanded, and even though they put it in there, it was kind of interesting to me because then in the base game, they didn't really build in anything for you to use with it, really. For the most part, you're using it to move around little trinkets and various little objects that they put around the map. Where, to me, that would seem really, really useful for picking up small square bales, which would allow you to get into taking care of animals pretty quickly in the game, because you could use a small square baler instead of the huge round balers or the large square balers, which are both expensive and require tractors to move the bales afterwards. So I'm glad to see it's in there. I was surprised they didn't actually build something into the game that allows you to utilize it a little more. But that's okay. Okay, and I also see a slight problem. It says my worker up there is finished. I know there's no way he finished that field yet. So my guess is he went up that first row, turned the wrong way, and again, just super, super helpful farm sim. Hired workers. Well, I can't do anything about it right now. I'm not jumping over there trying to fix him while I'm in the middle of harvesting for this mission. These missions are going to be really useful in our goal of getting to $10 million. Like I said before, we can use the money from these missions as the money that helps us buy stuff and stay afloat and things like that, so that we can store the grain from our harvest and wait for great demands to sell them. I'm really, really looking forward to that. So we will definitely be doing lots of missions, especially when we get to a point like right now. I've got the hired worker doing what he's supposed to be doing, and there's really just not much else for me to do. What better time to go off and do a bunch of contracting missions? If I was really, trying to get to 10 million as quickly as possible in terms of in-game time, I would keep my clock at 1x, which it currently, well, it was before I started this mission. Keep that clock at 1x and spend all of my time, in between seeding and harvesting and that kind of stuff, just doing missions. Basically every day would be filled up with missions until I either couldn't do missions anymore or it was time to start the next jobs. That way you can really make a lot of money off of the missions while you have your hired workers off doing other stuff. And these missions, you make enough money, it really does pay for the other stuff in the game. So this is one aspect of the game that I thought Giants did a really good job with. And I am missing a bunch of stuff there, and a little more there. Fantastic. The missions are also a fun way to get yourself in other equipment. So, especially early in the game, just like we are now, we just started a new game. We don't have that many fields and we don't have that much equipment. All of it's small equipment or old equipment. Actually, small and old equipment. So, one, you don't have all that much to do. You can get your fields done pretty quickly. And two, your equipment is just old. So it's nice to be able to get in some new, bigger equipment right off the bat that you don't really have to pay for. So that was a good addition by Giants. And, overall I think they did a good job of designing it in the game. The game handles it fairly well. It fits. There's also a benefit. You get better reputation with the buyer or with the owners of the fields, so you get a discount when you go to buy it. That's nice. They also made it so you couldn't steal the grain from your harvests and sell it for your own profit, which I thought was a good job by Giants catching that before people did it, because that's definitely what people would have done. I actually tried it as soon as I got into the game and started doing missions. Your harvester is sitting here filling up, and if you guys have ever done a harvest on one of the bigger fields or with one of the crops that has a high yield, you know that your harvester never actually fills up. As you approach the max fill level of your harvester, it just, how quickly it fills up starts slowing down until eventually it basically doesn't fill up anymore at all. So I did wonder how they would handle harvesting, whether they would give you a trailer to unload into or something like that. That's how they handled it. But they also did make it so that you cannot even go unload into your own trailer. Because I did bring a trailer down one time and try to unload into that to see if I could, you know, just kind of take the grain for myself, sell it for my own profits, being a little shady, not being the best neighbor. That did not work. So nice job there by Giants, guessing what people would try to do and putting an end to that before it could even start. I would like to see this contracting idea expanded even more. It's nice. Right now it kind of feels like a neighbor needs help, but they allow you to use their equipment and then they basically just pay you for it. And of course the amount of money that they pay you for it is absolutely astronomical, given that you do, you know, 20 minutes worth of work and you're making, I don't remember how much I was making off of this job, $15,000 or something like that for 20 minutes worth of work. I would like to see where they actually have contracts in the game. So you actually contract with a neighbor to farm their fields and you make a certain amount of money off of it. You use your own equipment to harvest their fields. So you don't have to pay the money to buy the field in the first place, but you get to work that extra bit of land. And either you have to pay them a certain amount of money or you have to pay them a certain percentage of the harvest or something like that. It would be, I think that would really add another layer to the game, which would be a lot of fun. And super realistic. There's farmers around this area that most of the land that they work in a given year is somebody else's land and they have a contract to farm it. So it would be really good to see that in the game. If they ever do it, I don't know. I would also like to see them put a small square baler in the game so that you can make small square bales and get going right off the bat with animals and lift all that stuff by hand. But that system still needs to be improved. Anytime Giants adds something new that has physics built into it, it takes them a little while to get the details ironed out. Like when they added logging in Farm Sim 15, the log physics at first were awful. They got it figured out, and now in 17 the log physics are pretty good right off the bat. But, you know, that's because they basically got it figured out in 15. The bale physics in this game, stuff that you pick up in this game, the physics are not all that great. And what you can do with it is not all that great. You can pick objects up, but you can't really manipulate them at all. You can't turn them or anything like that. So even if you do download a small square baler mod and try to stack the small square bales by hand, which, you know, would make sense, it's really useful, it's really difficult to do because you can't really reorient the bales very well. You can't really lift them up higher or lower. It's just not quite there. And to be fair, while Agricultural Simulator 2013 had the ability to manipulate small objects by hand, they didn't have the whole being able to turn it and lift it and stuff like that figured out either. So it's gonna take somebody figuring that out. But it would be nice to be able to get into haymaking and straw making with square bales so that you could get into animals right at the beginning of the game with only a small investment. People are still going to want to get out of it pretty quickly because nobody's going to want to sit there and stack small square bales by hand for very long. It's tedious. Even if the physics work right, it would still be tedious. So, I don't know. I think it's something that they could put in the game. I think it would add a lot to the game. Look at that. That looks a little weird. Our cabin is jumping around. Not on that side. Just on that side. A little odd. So, we're getting close. Looks like we are almost about 7/8 of the way done with this field. Make ourselves some nice money here off of this contracting job. Oh, we're gonna have to figure out what do we get next? What is our next purchase gonna be? It probably should be some sort of plow, I would think. Although exactly which plow it is, I'm not really sure. But there's other things I would like to buy as well. If we get into animals, we're probably going to want some sort of baler and potentially some hay making equipment. So that might be something to get into. And I would also like to get a corn header and a corn planter so that we can start planting corn. Especially if we're going to get into pigs. We definitely need corn. You can actually do pigs and get really pretty high, oh, what do they call it? It's not efficiency, but productivity. That's the word I was looking for. You can get pretty high productivity even if you don't have any root crops. I think you get 95% productivity without root crops, but you aren't going to get hardly any productivity if you don't have corn. Corn is the base of the pig's food. Then wheat or barley or something like that, the grains make up a pretty good portion as well. Then your proteins like canola, soybeans, and sunflowers make up another decent portion. And the root crops are kind of a really small percentage at the base, at the very bottom. And of course water. All those things would be pretty easy to get into. I think we could get into pigs relatively early because we're already able to harvest soybeans and canola, wheat, barley. It wouldn't take too much for us to be able to harvest corn. We just need a seeder and a corn head for the combine. That shouldn't be too bad. If we can do a few contracting jobs, we could get into that. Getting into the haymaking side of animals was going to take us a bit longer to get into that because we have to get a baler and a mower and a tedder and a windrower and lots of things. So about $16,000 with the time bonus there. Nice. So now we have $53,000. Let's go check out what... Oh. So he actually did try to go the right way. He just went the right way into a tree. Well, tried. Oh, farm sim. Hired helper AI is just fantastic. Okay. Helper B is blocked by an object. Okay. Not really sure what's going on there. We're having a little issue with our hired help here. On. Go. Still blocked by an object. Is there something I'm missing? I don't know. I am quite confused. Well, guys, looks like we are doing this work ourselves. Wait. Oh, there we go. Hey, look at that. He is actually doing it. Yay! Yay for the not completely idiot helper. Okay, this is the field we were just at. So once you harvest a field, it's nice to kind of see what's next. So we made 16,000 off of that. Got a nice little bit of notoriety with this guy. Let's go ahead and do one more job here because this will be a super quick job. Get a nice $3,000 out of it. And let's see how the field value changes. So it's $220,000 right now. Let's do a job and see how it changes. This will be a nice short job, so you guys don't have to sit here and watch for quite as long as the harvest. Okay. Back here. There we go. Oh, excellent. Unfold. Zoom out so I can see what I'm doing. What is kind of cool is using Courseplay sometimes with these jobs, especially the bigger ones. You set up the course and have the Courseplay worker drive the course for you. That can be fun. We're not going to do that, but I'm just saying, it can be a good time. You sit back doing something else on your computer and just let the Courseplay do all the work for you. Excellent, there we go. We'll have this field done in no time. I think it gave us like 8 minutes for the job. It won't take us 8 minutes. Probably 5. This is such an interesting piece of equipment. I've never actually used this in the game except for in these missions. And part of the reason is this right here. It is so gigantic. It is a huge pain in the butt to turn. If there's anything near the edges of the fields, you're probably going to run into it. You have to do kind of what I did there, which is start turning while you're still in the field and just let the thing kind of swing around. And you might miss a little bit of the corner, which if that was your own field maybe wouldn't be something you want to do, but on these missions missing the corners doesn't really matter. But you have to do that, otherwise if you go all the way to the end of the field and then try to turn around, even on a field like this, those trees they're not all that close to the field, but they're too close to make that turn in this thing. I actually tend to use fertilizer spreaders a lot for that very reason. They have a decent spread, but you can still turn with them and not have to worry about running into stuff. Whereas your sprayers actually have booms that spread way out to the side and are just notorious for running into trees and all sorts of stuff like that. Look at that, we're already halfway done. So yeah, once you for instance, harvest a field, it can be a good idea to come right back to that same field and check, especially if you don't really have much else to do at that point, like us right now. We don't really have a whole lot to do right now. So we can just sit here on this one field, especially a field like here, number 4. A lot of the jobs in this field aren't going to take you all that long. It's not that big of a field. It's big enough to be worthwhile in terms of the money you're going to make, but not so big that you're going to be sitting here forever. If you really have some time, you can take one of the jobs on one of the bigger fields, especially, you know, if you take a fertilizing job on field 5 or something like that, you can make a ton of money. If you take a harvesting job on one of those fields, you can make a lot of money. In my first playthrough, my own personal save game that I started right after the game came out, that's what I did, was several very, very large jobs and made a lot of money. I think I was making like a couple $100,000 a day from contracting jobs. Hey, I mean, you know, think about how you normally get started in Farm Sim. It takes a while to get going. To be able to make $200,000 in a day is a huge bonus in kind of getting you going, getting you off your on your feet, so to speak. I don't know that we'll go that crazy with it. I have to be really careful doing some of those really long contracting jobs because I said that I didn't want to do a lot of stuff off screen and don't really want to subject you guys to 2 hours worth of sugar beet harvesting. Excellent. See, nice $4,000. That took us what, 5 minutes, and we made $4,000. So that's a good way to get going. Let's just check up on him, see how he's doing. Seems to be doing fine. Excellent. And we should be in the second stage of fertilization on this field. Perfect. Okay, let's see what else he's got for us. Plowing time. Okay. And we're going to do a time check. We're at 31 minutes. And we're coming back from the time check in 3, 2, 1. Alright, here's another interesting job. We could take a plowing job, and after the time bonus, we'd probably be looking at something like $20,000 for this job, for probably about 30 minutes of work. Anyway, let's look at the field value. $216,000. It was $220,000 before, so we just knocked the price of the field down $4,000 by doing one job. That's nice. We are not going to take this job right this moment because we're at the end of our episode length. So, guys, we started today with about $38,000. We are up to $57,000. So we're actually up almost $20,000 today. That's a pretty good day considering we didn't harvest anything, we didn't sell anything, we really didn't do anything except contracting work. And made a nice $20,000. This guy's still working away. He's on field 15 now, planting soybeans. So next time when we come back, that's where we're going to pick up with our planting on field 15. We're going to continue that, and we're also going to try to get another contracting job and see where that takes us. Alright guys, I will see you next time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you have any questions or if you like the video. If you like what you see, please do hit that subscribe button for more videos. Until I see you guys next time, thanks for watching.